Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the Gospel of John, chapter 12, verses 27 through 36. Jesus is in Jerusalem. The Passover is going on. Some Greeks have asked to be introduced to Jesus, and he says, now the hour has come. All throughout the Gospel of John, we've been told, hour hasn't come yet. It's not time yet. It's not quite time yet. But now the alarm has gone off and it's time. Now is the time. And with this, Jesus predicts his death. He says, my soul is troubled. And why not? Because he's on his way to the cross and he says, what am I supposed to do? Tell the Father not to make this happen? To save me from this hour? The whole point of my coming, the whole point of being born in the flesh was to die on the cross for your sins and mine, to take on sin, death, and the devil, and to defeat them. And it happens not through wrestling with the devil, it comes through death. And he says, and then as he says it, Father, glorify your name. He's saying, Father, when I'm on the cross, glorify your name in me as I'm on that cross. The cross is a moment of glory. We wouldn't expect that in human perception, right? But that's when it is. And then the Lord, the Father, speaks, I've glorified your name, and I'm going to glorify it again when you're on the cross. And the crowd hears this. You know, and I think about how God speaks to people differently. And so often we dismiss the voice of God. We don't want to hear it. Most often it's spoken to us in church, through the gospel preaching, but it challenges us to live in ways that we don't want to really go into. And so we dismiss it. We all hear God's voice differently. And how often we hear it depends on how often we're ready to hear it. Now, Jesus then says in verse 30, that voice wasn't for my benefit, it was for you. He already knows where he's going. He says, now is the time. Once again, now is the time. And what is it the time for? The judgment of the world. And what's the judgment of the world? That all those who enjoy sin, who camp out in darkness, they've been judged. All sinners have been judged, but now there's an opportunity for salvation. That's why he says, and now the prince of this world will be driven out. Now we think about that. We see the devil seem to be operating carte blanche in our world today, right? All kinds of horrendous, heinous things happen in our world. Where is Satan being driven out? From your spiritual life, right? Jesus is casting out the devil today, now. And when you are saved, when you are baptized, that's an exorcism. The devil is cast out and God has reign in your life. And so part of that thing is are you encouraging Jesus Christ to sit on the throne in your heart? Jesus goes on to say, when I'm lifted up, the Son of Man must be lifted up. When he is lifted up, he will draw all people to himself. Again, Jesus is speaking over and over again about the kind of death that he's going to die. When he speaks about being lifted up, he's talking about the cross. The crowd says, we've heard from the law that the Messiah was going to remain forever. We know that this is true because the Messiah will die and be raised up again. But Jesus says, the Son of Man must be lifted up. The Son of Man must go through the cross in order to be resurrected. You got to die to have resurrection. Then 35, you're going to have the light with you just a little while. Walk in the light. And that's the calling for all of us. Thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.